life? Is it hard?
Welcome to Breaking the Silence with Arthur and Nicole, a podcast that dives deep into stories, struggles, and triumphs of extraordinary individuals. Join me as I explore powerful narratives, uncover hidden truths, and celebrate the voices that refuse to be silenced. Whether it's personal journeys, social issues, or inspiring achievements, the episodes are designed to enlighten, engage, and empower. Get ready for some candid conversations, thought-provoking insights, and a community that believes in the power of speaking out. Let's break the silence together. Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence with Arthur and Nicole, where you can unleash your inner voice. Man, season 4 is loading it's amazing. It's so many amazing people that has come across this platform for season 4. You're going to be like, you know what? She said that and she did that. So today, my guest is Coach Tammy Nicole. I have been really excited about this episode because I love talking to the coaches. I've been trying to get on that coaching journey myself. And I just wonder how they tick, because sometimes being coaches can be like one of those rewarding situations and can also be one of those challenging situations. So I'm excited about having this conversation with her and finding out how she got started. So after the countdown, please welcome Coach Tammy Nicole to the Breaking the Silence platform.
This is for my glow queen, shining with no sun now. The self-love remedy, something that will run out. Aligning in your aura, standing in your essence. Your beauty is a blessing. You stay in high vibration. Your life, you're manifesting through what you are.
Look at you back there jamming.
Beauty is a blessing. That is my ultimate mantra song. Glow Queen, baby.
That's a beautiful song.
Man, it is the theme over here. Okay.
Nice. Now I got to sit down and really listen to it. But when I heard
listen to it, it is everything. Wow. When I say everything, it is everything. If you just listen to the words, your beauty is a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, it's encouraging. The song says, I love the way you glow, queen. Glow. Just do you. I'm a self-love empowerment coach. So you got to know, you got to have a theme to life. And that one is it. So I'm glad they wasn't able to see me during that countdown, because I was all
jamming.
I was all in.
I was smiling. I was like, man, I don't know how I cannot smile when we get up here, because she back there jamming.
Man, that was it. I was like, oh, this is the way we started. Let's go.
Let's go. How to get you? I had to get you amped for the episode so we can talk.
Yes.
So tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, because I just said, she's an amazing coach. I didn't give them nothing else.
Awesome. I am Coach Tammy Nicole. I am, again, a self-love empowerment coach. I help mainly women. I will help a man if they ask, but mainly women find their authenticity in loving themselves first. A lot of times we as women, we have the world on our shoulders, and we trying to do it all. We trying to do all the things, we're moms, we're sisters, we're friends, we're wives, significant others. And it just always seemed like the weight rests on our shoulders. We help When you talk about relationships, like, oh, we're the neck, we help the head move. We do. But if that neck is not strong, in other words, if you have not found who you are and understood who you are, if you haven't dived deep into loving you, all of you, flaws and all, because we're not perfect, it is very difficult to be what I call authentically successful.
Mm,
So, can you be successful? Yes, but are you authentic in it? Probably not. And that's because you don't truly fully enjoy and love all things about your life. You just kind of like, ooh, if you're making a lot of money, you like that part. If you can go into a boardroom and tell somebody what to do, you like that part. But you go home at night and you like, my life is not everything that I want it to be. And that's because you don't truly love you. You can say it all, like people say it all the time. Oh, I love you. I love you. You don't even understand the essence of the word. Love is action. It's not just, something to say. So when I hear people say they love themselves, the first question I ask is, how are your boundaries? What do they look like? And do you have boundaries for you or just boundaries for other people?
mm. Wow. Wait a minute. You said boundaries for you and other people?
Right. So let's just be real, right? In life, you are what you put out,
Right.
right? So a lot of us don't really have nothing solid going on. We are literally working and living for the approval and affirmation of other people.
Mm-hmm.
We people pleasing. So we are like asking everybody, like, oh, you think I should do this? I'm thinking about doing this. The minute somebody say don't do it, or you can't do it, or that don't sound like a good idea to me, we are always immediately second guessing what our thoughts was, what our plans were, because oh, they didn't like it.
Right.
And it's like, who cares that they didn't like it? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you have to plan for? You can get opinions from people, but you should not change your plan for people, because they don't they're not made up like you. They're thoughts. It's just like when God tells you, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways, like you need to be following what I'm saying to do. It's the same for the other people. Your
Mm,
thoughts aren't their thoughts, and your ways are not their ways. But if you aligned yourself with you to understand who you are, then you would have boundaries in place to know this is the line I can cross and these are the lines I can't cross. You understand what I'm saying?
mm. I like that.
So
I never
when we
never thought
you
about it
never
that
thought
way.
about that? Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
like when I teach and coach women into loving themselves, we of course start at where are you? You know what I mean? Like what are your fundamental of life? Are you Do you put yourself first? Do you think that what you want matters? Do you feel like, oh, I can actually do this if I want to? Or
Mm,
do you feel like, well, so and so need me to go help them with this project. My kids got this going on. My husband got to go to the golf tournament. Is everybody else thing
mhm.
on the agenda before you?
Hmm. I think he's speaking my life because you know what? I'll say earlier in my lifetime, it was always what everybody else wanted me to do. It was never what I wanted. But then as soon as I started speaking that language, it was, oh, you're selfish.
Hmm. I politely take that stamp of approval.
Mm,
Yep, I am. Because if I don't do it for me, who's going to do it for me?
that's true.
Right? If I don't do it for me, who's going to do it for me? I look at I don't even like the word selfish, to be honest, but since people like to use it, I take it as a badge of honor. Because if I burn myself out on your behalf,
Hmm,
you still move on and do whatever you need to do. And I'm still up in this bed or in this hospital bed or wherever I am, depleted and out. You're not
mhm.
stopping your life to come help me. You still moving. You still figuring out other stuff that you got to do. And my illness or my setback or my stop in the road is now an inconvenience for you.
Right. Been there. I've been there
So
over and over again.
so the reality is no. I'm going to put me first because I matter, right? When you are able to put yourself first, you're able to set boundaries that will allow you to move through life at more ease because I don't really care that I told you no.
Mm.
No is a complete sentence.
I don't know how to get there because tell no has like really not been in my vocabulary. It's
Well, you got to
been yes, yes, yes.
no, no. And it becomes easier, to be honest. Um, when I'm coaching women and I'm telling them that no is powerful and it's important, it's like, why do you really care about the other? Like, honestly, ask yourself, why do you really care
Mm,
about how they are being inconvenienced by your necessity? Like, why do you care?
mm,
What about them changes, rules, or moves your world?
hmm. Now you
The
put it that
ultimate,
way.
yeah, the ultimate answer comes back to their affirmation. That's what it's their affirmation, it's their applause, it's their that you have told yourself you need in order to move through life. And the reality is you were born alone, you're going to, die alone. But do you want to live a life where you still feel alone with 50 people around you?
Mm. Wow. See, now you opening my eyes and my wounds, and I'm like, really? Because I've been trying to get to that point in my life where I can say no
No.
and just leave it at that. But when I say no, I have to. You said it's a complete sentence, but when I say no, I got to tell them why I
Why?
said no.
Why do you have to do that?
They expect that explanation.
Okay. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What is your boundary?
I don't. I don't think I have any boundaries. But see, that's why I said that to you. I don't think I have boundaries when it comes to me and what I'm willing to do for people.
Yeah, no, you have to have some.
Mm.
Yeah, you
Wow.
have to have some. There are a lot of components to a self-love journey, and boundaries, self-forgiveness, learning how to grow. Like all of those things matter, right? If you were to say, "Oh, what are my top 3 things?" Self-compassion, self-forgiveness, and boundaries are the top 3 things you need to have a self-love journey.
Mm.
Period.
Wow. So what personal experiences led you to focus on self-love coaching, and how has that shaped you in your approach?
Okay, so you asked a really good question. So, by trade, by degree, all those good, I am a therapist. I am a psychotherapist. So, I started out in school getting a psychology degree, switching, going to get a master's, that whole kit and caboodle. And I got married at the age of 24. I was like 24, 25. And as a little girl, let me bag it up just a smidget. Okay, so that getting married at 24, 25 is important. As a little girl, I grew up having the plan of life, right? If my sister was right here, she'd be like, "Oh girl, she had that planned out since she was like 10." Like that's how she was that's how she was saying. I literally was big on just making plans for my life as a whole, as a little girl. So when I was younger, probably like since the age I could talk, I was gonna be a pediatrician. That was my thing. I'm gonna be a pediatrician. My godfather was a pediatrician. My very first job was in his medical office. Like medicine was like what I was planning to do. So got to high school and my friends, they would always come to me about all of their issues, right? They'd be
Mm.
like, "Oh, I'm struggling with my mama with this, or my boyfriend doing this, and how do I do this?" And just a bunch of stuff. Like I was the go-to friend for all of the advice.
Advice. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of cool," but I didn't really take nothing from that, to be honest. I just was like,
It's
I'm
just
that friend.
advice to friends, right?
I'm that friend, right? And so I graduate high school, flew to Atlanta. I'm from LA. Flew to Atlanta to go to Clark Atlanta, get into school. My original major was biology pre-med. Remember,
Still in
I'm
the
going to
medical field.
medical school. I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to be a pediatrician, period. Right. So, in that, one of my first courses, though, was Psych 101. That's a part of the general education. So, I get into this class and I'm like, oh, snap, I'm digging this. Like psychology was like it's the thing. It started aligning with my purpose. So when people ask, what is that one thing you'll do that if nobody paid you, you would just do it. You would be happy to get up and do. And helping people, talking to people was that thing for me. So fast forward, I changed my major from bio pre-med to psych pre-med. Because in my mind, okay, maybe I want to be a pediatrician. Maybe I'll just be a psychiatrist. Like maybe, because
Mm-hmm.
this psychology thing is working for me. So that's what I did. Right. But like again, I had planned my entire life out. So I'm going to school, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to meet a man, I'm going to marry him, I'm going to have these kids. This is the plan. Right.
Right.
Boom. I go to school, go to grad school, and right before grad school, I met my husband. Boom. So I graduated grad school and got married literally a month. Like I was planning the wedding and graduating all at the same time.
Wow.
Okay. Because I had a goal and a plan. And, people talk about manifestation and all of that these days. But the goal and plan was to be married by a certain age because
Wow.
I needed to have had my kids by the time I was 30 because I had planned these things out. Like this was how I'm living life. I'm living life on a structured plan and this is what I'm doing, right? So I get married and I'm like, we married for like 10 years and I started saying, I'm not happy. I
Mm.
started growing, 24, you oh, you haven't found yourself yet. So
Right.
now I'm like 34 and I'm like, this is not it for me. This is not it. Like it wasn't that the relationship was bad. It was something in me just wasn't fulfilled and I
Mm.
couldn't figure it out.
Wow.
And so I decided I want a divorce. I gotta get like I can't do this. Like I'm not happy. Like I just can't do this. And so I got a divorce. And in that process of the divorce, I started to discover who I was.
Mm.
And then I started to do this thing on daddy issues. My dad wasn't really in my life as a kid. Like I've known him my entire life. But as far as him being heavily present and active, he really wasn't. And so I grew up, even when I said I was going to get married, I always said I would never marry a man like my daddy.
Mm.
So when I got married, I ensured that my husband had none of his characteristics. Well, the problem in that was I needed some of my daddy's characteristics in a husband. And I
Mm.
didn't because the characteristics that I needed were the characteristics he gave me. You know what I mean? Your DNA is
Right.
real.
Right.
And so I started to do a lot of work behind daddy issues and healing and self love and all of those things. So I wrote my very first book, and it was called "I Married My Father: Understanding How DNA Plays a Part in Choosing the Right Mate." It
Wow.
was about I did 12 women that had different relationships with fathers and how ultimately they needed to know who they were
Right.
versus focusing on the behaviors or interactions or relationships that they had with their dad when choosing their person, right? So that's how the walk really started. And I left from doing that book to doing The Daddy and Me, which was more like a novel. So the first book is more self-help. It actually helps you walk through like what are my daddy issues? How do I fix my daddy issues types of a thing. And then The Daddy and Me is like a novel of watching this one person kind of navigate the path in real life, but through reading. So that's really how my journey really started. I had to dig deep for me. I had to iron out all of the different things. But ultimately, in relationships and things of that nature, it boiled down to, do I know who I am?
Right. Right. But it's that's that's really deep that you said that you have to have some of that DNA in that person
Yeah,
from
you do.
your parents.
Yeah. They made you, right? So you have characteristics of them. It don't matter if you know them or like them, don't know, like you have them. You can't, how do you avoid it? Right?
Mm.
So your DNA is a part of you, and then the environment portions add to you.
Wow. I never looked at it that way, but you know what? That's ooh, yeah, that's yeah, that's a mind blower. Somebody that you don't like or you never met, that's a daddy or a mom.
Or mom.
You have to have some of their DNA in the person that you spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. So what specific techniques do you use to help women to embrace their self-worth and overcome their limiting beliefs in themselves?
Right. So I'm a very practical coach, right? The methodologies and things that I use are really themselves. And we walk through where are you right now?
Mm,
What's the big vision? What's the bigger picture in the end? And then we map out the steps between where we are and where we're going. So when you talk about changing someone's limited belief systems, you really have to unlearn old habits,
mhm,
right? A lot of us have been taught, conditioned, and trained to think from a negative perspective.
mhm,
Everything is a thought from lack. And
mm,
because I work more with mothers, because I'm a single mom, I work with single mothers because I want them to understand that though the weight of the world seems to be on your shoulders, you can still live a fulfilling and authentic life that doesn't have to look and feel heavy all the time.
right.
Right. So we have to unlearn the negativities that we have all thought was normal.
Hmm. So how do you deal with someone that comes in and say, for instance, they've been dealing with low self-esteem all their lives.
Mhm,
They've been that ugly duckling. They've been the person that, people picked on, even their family, treated them like crap. And they just
mhm.
don't believe in nothing when it comes to themselves. How do you turn that around?
You turn it around by turning them towards the mirror, right? Because all of those things that actually fed into that thought pattern don't matter. Like, does it matter? It doesn't matter anymore, right? So we start working on changing that limited system. What are we going to do? We're going to do some affirmations, right? But I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you, if the belief portion is where you struggle, you have to then move from a logical standpoint first, right? So if I can't actually have a belief in something, I always tell somebody, you do believe in things. You may say, oh, I don't believe in that. Oh, I don't believe you do, right? Whatever that thing is
Mhm,
that says this works or it doesn't work, that's your belief compass.
mhm,
And so if you need to change it, you may have to change it logically first and then triculate it into an actual inner belief system, right?
right.
Saying affirmations all day ain't changing nothing. I can say I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. I can say, oh, girl, you look good, you look good, you look good. But if I don't believe it, ain't none of that happening.
Mm. Wow. So you hear a lot of people say, start your day off with the affirmations, but that makes sense. If you don't believe that any of the things that you're pouring into yourself is actually going to happen, then
Right.
everything you're saying is in vain.
Correct. So that self concept that is like, in between the conscious and the subconscious is where you have to change it, right? And a lot of times I tell my clients, I say, you know what? You may have never done this before, but when you go to sleep, you need to play things what in your subconscious that are positive changing for you. So you can get on YouTube, you can search, talking, affirmations that are on soothing tones and let that thing play. But it has to be something you want to believe. It can't be something that just, oh, they did that. Okay, let me do that. No, your life is yours. Your
Absolutely.
life is yours. How do you want that life to look? How do you want that life to play out? It's all up to you.
You're right. I always say everything starts with you. Like you're the first person you see in the morning. So you have to uplift yourself before you start your day and before you go outside with other people because
You
that's
must,
going to set the whole tone.
yes, you must be intentional.
Got to. Got to. So
You
how do
must.
you foster like a sense of sisterhood among women you work with, and why is that? Why is community important to you?
So community is super important, right? So I do like people to understand that though I don't necessarily have to depend on or per se care what you think or feel about me, the support of people does matter. It helps push you along the way. It does help you get into a certain space, right? But it's the people that you choose to be around. You need to also be in the same space or higher than where you are.
Right.
The phrase birds of a feather flock together is real.
Real.
Okay. The phrase that bad company corrupts good character, real.
Real. Hmm.
So your system, your support system does matter. If everybody is not on your level or above it, if you what they say, if you're the smartest one in the room, there's a problem.
That's a problem. Yes.
So so fostering the community, it does matter. And you should have a healthy support system. But you being you shouldn't change. You have to learn how to communicate where you are, learn how to communicate how you feel, and be receptive to things, but you don't have to receive things to the detriment of yourself, right? You have to have the standard. You are the blueprint. You are the architect. You cannot let them just make you a piece of clay and they not Jesus.
Hmm.
You don't need them molding you. You just need them to support and keep things inside your lines and set your boundaries. Be able to say, hey, I require X, Y, and Z from people that are in my life. It means I require respect. I require honesty. I like that's what I require. So if you start doing things like this disrespectful, you have wrote your own pink slip.
Mm.
It was nice knowing you. Have a good day. If you decide you can't be honest with me, it was nice knowing you. Have a good day. People can say that is so cutthroat, that is so no, it's called boundaries with consequences.
Boundaries.
And if
Boundaries.
you're able to share those boundaries, communicate those boundaries, you'll protect your peace much easier.
You're absolutely right. Now we talked about the most rewarding things about being a coach, but what about those challenges of being a coach?
Mm, so I am a positive person, right? I am a person that says even the negatives have positives within
Yes.
them.
Yes.
So to say something is challenging. You know what I mean? Because I always see the glass half full versus half empty. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mhm.
see it to be an issue. Now, being a therapist, I have learned to not take on people's problems. So
Mm.
as I'm coaching individuals, I'm saying, hey, this is still your journey. It's not my journey, it's your journey. And so the work that you put in is really on you. You get out what you put
Put
in.
in.
You cannot go to a bank. Well, people think at Chase they can, but you can't go to the
Mm.
bank and withdraw something and ain't got nothing in there.
That's
Period.
true.
So it doesn't become challenging to me. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm depositing, I'm going to withdraw. It's on them to do the work.
So it doesn't get to those points, like, say, for instance, where you're sitting down, because I was the type too that was in school that everybody wanted advice from. And I didn't know then what I know now, that the power in the words that I tell people was actually doing something.
Mhm.
So when you sit down and you talk to these people, are you finding a way to detach all of those things from you? Because it's like you're carrying their
Yeah, because I don't
problems when you
own it.
talk to
It's not
them.
mine. It's
Mm,
not mine. It's theirs. That's their stuff. You know what I mean? Even growing up, I wouldn't even say I was bullied, but I would say people would pick at me or whatever. I'm dark skinned. Most of my friends were fair skinned, light skinned. It was like, oh, you would get picked on, da da da. Da. And my mom used to say, that's their stuff.
mm,
That's their stuff. Why you take it and own it? If someone called you dumb, that was their words. Why did you say, oh, I'm dumb? No, I don't need to own your stuff. That's your stuff. Own it.
mm,
So the way I don't bring it to me is I don't attach it to me. I don't say, oh, so they were feeling, sad or depressed, or they were doing all these. I don't go, man, I would be feeling that way too if X, Y, and Z happened to me. Man, I wish so and so would. Maybe I would do blah, blah. I don't do that because that ain't my stuff.
mm. That's a good way to look at it. Wow. Because I was worried about that aspect of, me having their problems onto me and attaching to me. And then now I'm thinking about this type of stuff and I'm trying to figure out how, they say coaches and therapists need their own therapists.
Absolutely. 100%.
So,
100%. Everybody needs somebody. Nobody is isolated alone, right? So, yes, my own therapist, my own coach, like, because I don't know everything,
right,
right?
right,
Life is a journey and a field of experiences that you are learning and changing every day.
every day.
Yes, all coaches, all therapists need their own therapists and their own coaches. 100%.
Wow. So why do you believe that self-love is the foundation of relationships? And how do you think women and men can cultivate in their lives by having self-love as their foundation?
So I think I got your question. It kind of went out just a little bit. Can
Okay.
you repeat it for me one time?
Okay. Why do you believe self-love is the foundation of all relationships, and how can women cultivate it in their lives?
So self love is a foundation of all relationships because the first relationship you ever have is with you.
Mm,
If I don't know how to love me, there's no way I'm loving you. When people, my podcast, my whole thing says loving me before I love you, right? Because there's no way I can authentically love you if I don't love myself.
hmm,
What does that even look like?
right.
The love I'm giving you, and I'm air quoting, the love that I'm actually giving you is actually what I think you want to receive, should receive, what the social media says this is the way you give it, because I don't love myself. It's artificial.
So that's just saying, like, if you fall in love, you find your you think, well, who you think is your person, and you fall in love with that person, and but you don't love yourself. So does
Did
that
you
say
really
that
fall
you
in
you
love?
really don't love them?
Did you really fall in love? No. Which is kind of like what I said, even for my own story, right? I got married under false pretense. I wasn't loving me for real. So then when I decide to really love me, I realized that's not for me.
Mm,
It wasn't that he was a bad guy. It's not for me because I wasn't loving me. I can't love you because I don't love me. I can
mm,
tell you I love you all day. I can cook for you. I can clean for you. I can make sure your clothes are washed. I can, do all of the things. but that's not really love. Those are
Mm.
action. Those are like behaviors that people are just, oh, I care for you. So yeah, yeah, I love you. Like, but do you really?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer on people showing me that they love me.
Hmm.
And I've always been that way, but that's been a childhood thing because people would tell me all the time, "I love you," but there was no action to come from it.
Hmm. Nothing supported it, right?
Nothing supported the love that they say they had for me. So I've always been the type of person that wanted to. When I tell you I love you, I don't even have to tell you because my actions speak for me
Hmm.
that I
And
actually love you.
what actions are those though?
I mean, if I show up for you, I believe in showing up for people. If
Hmm.
I show up, if you ask me to do something for you and you say, it's XYZ, and I may have to make a sacrifice to do it, and I still show up. I mean, to me, I'm showing up in any aspect of your life. I'm there.
So
That
love to you
shows you
equals
that I love
support.
you.
So
Yep.
love to you equals support. How do you support yourself?
Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Most of my life, I haven't showed up for me. I've
Right.
showed up for others.
Right. But you desire the support. Because you have defined love for yourself to be it equals support. So you're giving more to other people what you desire to come from other people, but you don't give it to yourself.
Mm, no, no. I had to be honest. No,
Right. So is that love authentic?
because they're not actually reciprocating.
No, because you're not reciprocal. You don't have it for you. How is that? You don't support yourself, but you're supporting everyone else. And you have defined love for yourself to equal support.
Mm. If you put it that way, it's not authentic. Wow. But see, I don't know how to show up for myself. That's the bad part. That's the bad part in that. I don't know how to really show up for myself because
You
I've been doing it
do.
so long with showing up for other people.
So when you show up for yourself, it's when you are accomplishing the things that you want to do for life, right? They can't accomplish those things on your behalf. So if you say, I'm not showing up for me, well, are you doing the things that you require for the life that you want to live?
Well, yeah.
So you
Podcast.
show up for yourself.
Podcasting is the main thing that I can say I stepped out of my shell and now I'm living through it and this is what makes me happy. So yeah, every day that I show up behind this mic, that's showing up for
You're
myself.
showing up for yourself.
Since you put it that way. Yep. And when I get behind this mic, I'm showing up for myself.
Correct.
Absolutely. Wow, you just brung something out of me and I didn't think about it that way. I really didn't think about it that way of okay, I have been showing up for myself, not really realizing that I was showing up for myself.
Correct.
Wow. So what advice would you give to someone that's taking, well, I say looking to become a self-love coach in the same field that you're in?
So I say this in just general, right? Anything that you want to do, you have to be a part of it, right? It has to be something that really comes from you. Because in order to help somebody else do something, not that you have gone through their walk of life, but you have to be able to connect. You have to be able to say, okay, these are the steps that I took to do X, Y, and Z to get on the other side of transformation, right? How did I transform my life from whatever that is? Because it's not just even about being a self-love coach. It's like if you want to be a self-love coach, cool. The more the merrier, because there's a lot of people out here that don't love themselves. You have to first love yourself. Okay, that's going to be step number one. Do you love you? And number two, are you able to teach someone how to do it?
Mm. Yeah, you got it has to start with you. Like I said, everything starts with you. And
Yeah.
if you don't love yourself, you can't tell nobody else how to love themselves. I mean, that's pretty much with anything that you do in life.
Yes.
You
Everything it comes from most of it comes from experience and
period.
or school, right?
Exactly.
I mean, in the coaching realm, it's no regulations currently on being a coach. You know, you do have people that are out here providing certifications and things of that nature. You don't technically need one to do it.
Right.
However, the government, they see in this coaching department, this coaching sector growing. So they're
Mm.
about to start taxing us and they're about to start putting some regulations in place. Like you can smell it coming. So getting a certification is going to be important, but you want to choose the right one. You want to choose a certification program that will give you methodologies that you can actually license and, like this is my method. This is the way I do it and makes it unique for you.
Right. This has been such a great conversation. You have made me realize some things about myself that I didn't even really think about, until this conversation. So I have one last question for you before I
Mhm.
give you the spotlight. Who inspires you in your realm of self-love and empowerment? And how has that influenced you in the work that you do?
Man. So I'm inspired by a lot of people, to be honest. I'm inspired by friends that are doing things that they want to do out of life. I'm inspired. My mom is no longer with me, but she inspired me to be me, right? Do you do what you want to do, and you have one lane, your lane. Can't nobody beat you being you. Can't
Okay.
nobody outdo you being you. And so mindset is everything. Okay. When I tell you how you think about a thing is how it is. Now, I'm a Christian girly, so the Bible is my roadmap to life. And my Bible told me, as a man thinketh, so is he. And therefore, how I think about a thing, that's what it is.
That's what it
And
is.
so it is what keeps me going and inspired. Like, that's the life I want to live. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I believe I can. And who gonna stop me? I almost feel like, I watch a little ratchet TV, y'all, but it's like my little pastime. It's kind of entertaining, it's funny, whatever. But Sheree on uh Real Housewives of Atlanta a long time ago say, who gonna check me, boo? So who gonna stop me? Like who gonna do me? Like you can't you can't you can't. And you just gotta have that mindset. And
Mhm.
so for me, like that's where I derive my go get it. I have models that I set for my life. I mean, like I said, I went to Clark Atlanta, and the motto for the school is find a way or make one. And that's my thing too, right? Like you have to be able to have different things in your life that says, this is me, this is who I am, and this is how I operate. And live by those things, speak those things because you believe those things. And then everything that you want will be. Like I've never been a person that felt like somebody else had control.
Right.
I don't know. I just never had that mindset. Being an African American woman, you grow up and everybody, tell you that white people kept you down, or then I'm like, they can't control me. They say,
No.
oh, it's a glass ceiling. Where is it? And people can say, oh, you naive, or, there's no way. No, see, if there was a glass ceiling, then you either do one or two things. Take something and break it, because glass break.
Mhm.
Hello.
Mhm.
Or go build yourself a room that don't have no ceilings.
Period.
Like there's who's stopping me?
Nobody gonna stop you but you. I say seriously, like, but everything is about mindset. If you think it,
It
you can
is.
do it.
As a man thinketh, so is he. I follow I think his name is Gold. I think his last name is Golden. It may be Gordon, but Myron. He's a very big, popular business coach for
Mm.
entrepreneurs and coaches and speakers and things of that nature. And I was watching a clip of his not too long ago, and he was basically saying the Bible give you all the principles you need. If it doesn't align in there, we ain't doing it. Like it's there. Every successful business guaranteed are using biblical principles.
Wow.
Biblical principles, because it's the roadmap. It's everything. Nike said just do it, so did Jesus.
That's not now. You know what? That's mind blowing. I never thought about it that way. You said there are business principles in the Bible.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Jesus, when he gave the talent to the men and said, I'm gonna give you this and go do something with it, and the one man put it in the ground and the other man multiplied, what God
Yeah.
told him?
There you
You
go.
can sit on it if you want to, but investments is real. He that's a biblical principle.
Yes. Yes. Ooh, I never thought about it. Well, I was getting ready to take that conversation with my mom. I'm like, you know what, mom? I just had an interesting interview with Coach Tammy. She said there are business principles in the Bible.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm, wow. So it's
Absolutely.
time for your light to shine. I'm gonna do your countdown to get you amped up again with your song so you can
Oh, you
shine. Yes, I'm gonna get you amped up again.
I can't
So
sing, y'all, but that's my song though. That's my song.
I wish you to let everybody know where they can find you. Give this young generation that's running wild out here some type of encouragement, some type of advice after your countdown. The stage is on you.
This is for my glow queen, shining with no sun now. The self-love remedy, something that will run out. Aligning in your aura, standing in your essence. Your beauty is a blessing. You stay in high vibration. Your life, you're manifesting. Through us, your world is
Changing. Your beauty is a blessing. I'm sorry, y'all. That's my jam. I want y'all to go listen to the song, okay? If I was to give you steps to self-love, I'm gonna give you 5 things, okay? I want you to practice self-compassion. I want you to set healthy boundaries. I want you to engage in self-care. I want you to celebrate your small wins. And I want you to surround yourself with positivity. And I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you a little freebie. Self forgiveness is real. You must learn to forgive yourself for every choice, every decision, every action that you did that put you in the position that you're in today. Remember, everything that happened before now, it happened. It brought you to where you are. There's no need to be, oh, I regret that, or there's no need to even beat yourself up about it because you're still here. You are still here. So I am saying to you, you must love yourself like authentically, wholeheartedly, and that includes your flaws. If you want to get in touch with me, by all means, you can reach me by email at coaching at iamtammynicole.com. You can reach me at info at iamtammynicole.com, or you can go to the website at iamtammynicole.com. Remember, love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.
Boom. I love your energy. I love you. I said, you came in here and you came up here for an interview, but you coached me while you was here and didn't even know it probably. I said, man, see, you allowed me to see things about myself that I didn't even see until we connected. So I appreciate you for that. And thank you so much for being a guest and coming up here and shining. Allow me to shine the light on you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you to everybody else out there viewing this amazing episode with Coach Tammy Nicole, man, dropping gems. Man, if you don't love yourself first, she said it best. You can't love nobody else. You can't. It's gonna make you question if you really in love with that person you with. I was like, wait a minute. She said if you don't love yourself, then you don't love the person you're married to. We got to get it together out here, y'all. We got to get it together because we can be out here with somebody that we really don't love because we don't love ourselves. Food for thought. But as I always say, you matter, your life matters, your voice matters. And anything that you want to do in this lifetime, you can do it because it always starts with you. You're the first person you see in the morning. Pump yourself up. Tell yourself, I can do this and I'm going to do this today. Like Miss Tam, like Coach Tammy Nicole said, it starts with the mindset. If you believe it, you can achieve it. So let's start loving ourselves. Let's start pouring into ourselves and stop starting off with an empty cup. Always got to be half full in order for you to go to the next level and learn how to say no. I'm listen. She said that's a complete sentence. I don't know what no means. But you know what? I'm going to start trying to figure out what that means to me and to others and start setting boundaries. You need boundaries for you and others. I didn't know the you part, but you need boundaries for you and others. So until next time, continue to make a difference and break the silence with Arthur, Nick, and Nicole. Later.
You're worth it. 3 words we have all heard at least 1,000 times, right? You're worth it. But do you really understand what that means? It's a beautiful reminder to us all that we have worth. You have reason and rarity. There is value in each and every one of us, including you. That is precious even on the days you might not feel it. You never depreciate in value. Those words are there to remind you. So to all those watching who feel like that or have ever felt like that, focus on what I'm about to say and repeat after me. I'm worth it. Okay? Maybe that felt great or perhaps that felt weird. Let's go again. First, take a deep breath and let it out. Forget the naysayers and silence the critics, even if the harshest words are the ones you say to yourself. Do not doubt yourself, and this time speak it louder, really loud. I'm worth it. And the next time you hesitate before going after something you want, the next time you blush and brush off a compliment, the next time you doubt your place in the world, in the workplace, in your home, or in your own skin, say these words to yourself, I'm worth it. And I know you will always say it like you mean it. I'm worth it. Because you are, and always will be. Got that?